You're listening to Just a Dude podcast with your host, Nathan. Sit back, relax, and enjoy the show. Let's roll. Hey folks, welcome back to Just a Dude in the News on Just a Dude podcast, the spot where we cut through the headlines without all the drama. I'm your host, Nathan, just a regular guy trying to make sense of this wild world. We're diving into the top 10 stories shaking up the United States from September 26th to today, October 3rd, 2025. No fluff, no spin, just the facts laid out straight. We've got everything from shutdown standoffs to some real heart tuggers on health and heroes. Grab your brew, settle in, and let's roll. All right, kicking things off with the big one that's got everyone talking. The federal government shutdown, now grinding into its third day as of October 3rd. It all kicked off at midnight on October 1st when Congress couldn't hash out a funding deal, leaving non-essential services on ice and hundreds of thousands of federal workers furloughed without pay. President Trump and his team are holding firm, freezing billions in projects tied to Democratic strongholds like New York City's transit upgrades and green energy pushes in states like California. Folks on social media are lighting up with frustration, sharing stories of delayed veterans' benefits and park closures, but the White House is framing this as a necessary reset to trim waste and prioritize real priorities like border security and military readiness. The roots of this mess trace back to a Senate vote on September 30th that tanked along party lines, with Democrats pushing hard for restored health benefits that expired earlier this year, hitting millions in red states the hardest. Trump called it out bluntly, saying it's time to stop the reckless spending spree that's ballooned the debt. Experts are warning of ripple effects like small businesses waiting on loans and air traffic controllers stretched thin. But on the flip side, some conservatives are cheering the pause as a chance to rethink bloated programs. It's a high-stakes game of chicken, and with no deal in sight, Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent hinted at thousands of targeted layoffs to streamline operations. Diving deeper, this isn't your garden variety shutdown. The administration's already redirected funds to keep essential ops like Social Security checks flowing, showing some smart planning amid the chaos. Social media is buzzing with memes about empty national parks turning into unintended getaways, but families relying on a Head Start program or food inspections are feeling the pinch. Republicans in the House are rallying behind Speaker Mike Johnson, who's vowing not to cave until demands for spending caps are met, echoing Trump's America First vibe. It's a reminder that fiscal responsibility isn't glamorous, but it's a grown-up move in a town full of big spenders. As we wrap this one up, keep an eye on this weekend's talks. Whispers from Capitol Hill suggest a slim path to a short-term fix, but only if both sides swallow some pride. Shutdowns test our system's checks and balances, and right now, it's proving why accountability matters more than ever. More on that as it unfolds, but for now, it's a stark wake-up call on where our tax dollars really go. Over to the international stage with a major development on September 29th, when President Trump and Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu unveiled a bold new proposal to end the war in Gaza, complete with a firm ultimatum to Hamas: accept the deal or face intensified consequences. The plan, hashed out during Netanyahu's White House visit, calls for a phased ceasefire, hostage releases, and reconstruction aid tied to demilitarization, aiming to wrap things up by the year's end. Trump hailed it as a game-changer for Middle East stability, emphasizing U.S. mediation to protect allies while pushing for real security gains. Social media is abuzz with reactions, some supporters praising the tough stance to critics, questioning the timelines. But it's clear this puts pressure on all sides to act. The proposal builds on back-channel talks from the UN General Assembly earlier that week, where over 100 diplomats walked out on Netanyahu's speech, highlighting global frustrations. Trump's administration is committing $2 billion in humanitarian aid funneled through vetted channels to avoid Hamas enrichment, while vowing military support if talks stall. It's a pragmatic pivot, blending diplomacy with deterrence, and echoes Trump's first-term success in Arab-Israeli normalization. Families of hostages shared emotional pleas online, urging Hamas to seize the moment and underscoring the human cost that's driven this push. Layering in the details, the ultimatum sets a 30-day window for Hamas to release remaining captives, with phased Israeli withdrawals following suit. Netanyahu credited Trump's unwavering resolve for breaking the impasse, and the duo's joint presser drew massive viewership. Social media threads are filled with maps breaking down the zones and expert talks on feasibility, with many noting how it sidesteps endless UN resolutions for direct action. It's a reminder that strong leadership can cut through the red tape, even in the world's toughest hotspots. Wrapping this up, the plan's fate hinges on Qatar and Egypt's buy-in, but early signals are very positive. Whether it sticks or not, it's a testament to putting America's interests first through smart alliances. Eyes on the region, this could be the turning point we've needed. Turning to a story that's stirring up some strong feelings across the country. On October 2nd, the FDA gave the green light to Avita Solutions' low-cost, generic version of the abortion pill, approved for use up to 10 weeks of pregnancy. Priced at just a fraction of the brand name cost, this move aims to make medication abortion more accessible nationwide, especially in areas where surgical options are limited or restricted. The approval comes as state laws vary wildly post-Roe, with social media lighting up over access issues, from rural clinics stocking up to pro-life groups vowing legal challenges. Trump's administration has stayed hands-off so far, focusing instead on a broader family support initiatives like expanded adoption tax credits. This development builds on years of litigation and regulatory hurdles, with Avita's pill hitting pharmacies as early as next month, potentially serving millions who rely on telehealth prescriptions. Advocates for women's health are celebrating it as a win for equity, pointing to data showing medication abortions now make up over half of all terminations. On the other side, faith-based organizations are mobilizing, arguing it bypasses necessary counseling and risks unmonitored complications. Social media is a mix of personal stories, from women sharing relief to families discussing alternatives like crisis pregnancy centers funded under recent federal grants. Breaking it down further, the pill's safety profile mirrors the original mifepristone with rare serious side effects, but the low price tag, under $20 a dose, could shift dynamics in blue states pushing for broader reproductive rights. Trump's HHS has emphasized protecting maternal health through prenatal care expansions, tying into a pro-family agenda that includes paid leave pilots. It sparked congressional hearings already, with Republicans like Senator Katie Britt calling for safeguards on minors' access, while Dems frame it as an essential health care. At the end of the day, this approval highlights the ongoing tug-of-war over personal choices and state powers. It's not about picking sides, but ensuring informed decisions with real support on all fronts. As distribution ramps up, it'll be interesting to see how it plays out in courts and communities alike. A devastating tragedy unfolded on September 28th in Grand Blanc, Michigan, when a gunman attacked a Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints during Sunday services, killing 4 worshipers and injuring 8 others before setting the building ablaze. The shooter, identified as 40-year-old Thomas Jacob Sanford, a local Iraq war veteran, rammed his truck into the chapel doors, unleashed a barrage of gunfire with a rifle, and then doused the place with accelerant, turning a peaceful gathering into a nightmare. Authorities say Sanford, who died in a shootout with the responding officers, had been planning this for months, leaving the small community reeling from loss of lives cut short in a place meant for solace. Social media is flooded with prayers and tributes, from candlelight vigils to calls for better protection at houses of worship, highlighting now no spot should feel unsafe for faith. Sanford's background adds layers to this heartbreak. A Marine sergeant who served in Operation Iraqi Freedom from 2004 to 2008, earning medals for his valor, but later grappling with personal demons tied to a bitter breakup with an LDS girlfriend over a decade ago. Friends described him as an outdoorsman with a distinctive truck-flying American flags, yet harboring deep resentment toward the Mormon faith that boiled over into this act of targeted violence. No clear manifesto surfaced, but investigators pieced together his online rants and social media posts railing against the church as antichrist, painting a picture of unchecked anger festering in isolation. It's the kind of story that shakes you, reminding us that heroes from the battlefield can sometimes lose their way back home. The immediate aftermath was chaos. Parishioners barricaded doors and shielded kids as bullets flew, with first responders pulling survivors from the flames amid acrid smoke. By Monday, schools in the district shut down to let families grieve, and Governor Gretchen Whitmer called it an unacceptable violence anywhere, especially in worship. Trump's White House issued a statement condemning the attack and pledging federal support for investigations into rising threats against religious sites. tying into broader pushes for armed guards in vulnerable spots. Social media threads captured raw emotion, with survivors sharing tales of quick thinking that saved lives, like a father tackling a fleeing congregant to safety, underscoring the everyday courage in crisis. As details emerged throughout the week, this shooting sparking urgent talks on veteran mental health resources and red flag laws to spot brewing dangers early. It's not just Michigan's pain, it's a national gut check on healing the wounds of war and hate. My thoughts are with Grand Blank. And let's hope it leads to real safeguards so faith communities can worship without fear. Stirring up the education world, on September 30th, Des Moines Public Schools Superintendent Ian Roberts was detained by ICE after a tip revealed his expired student visa from 1999 and a standing deportation order. The Guyana native, who's risen through the ranks to lead one of Iowa's largest school districts, now faces federal firearms charges too, after authorities found guns in his possession despite his status. Parents and teachers are reeling, with social media threads full of shock over how vetting missed this, questioning trust in school leadership. Robert's backstory is murky, with conflicting birth dates and claims of Brooklyn roots clashing against Guyana school records, fueling probes into possible fraud. Trump's ICE is touting it as proof their crackdown works, deporting high-profile cases to deter others, while local Dems cry foul over family separations. It's exposed gaps in the background checks for educators, with the district scrambling for an interim leader amid 30,000 students left in limbo. Layer by layer, this saga started with a whistleblower parent spotting discrepancies in Robert's online profiles, leading to a swift raid. He's pleaded not guilty, but evidence mounts on visas, overstays, and false docs, echoing broader debates on merit-based hiring over open borders. Social media split, with some hailing enforcement as protecting kids, while others decry it's an overreach in non-criminal cases. Ultimately, it's a wake-up call for communities nationwide. Strong leadership starts with clean records. As Iowa sorts the fallout, it's a nod to why secure borders matter even in quiet suburbs. Fingers crossed for stable schools ahead. From the Vatican to American shores, Pope Leo XIV made waves on October 1st by wading into the U.S. abortion fight, criticizing a Chicago cardinal for honoring a pro-choice senator and reaffirming the church's unwavering pro-life commitment. The first American-born pontiff, elected just months ago, called it a moral crossroads, urging Catholics to prioritize the unborn amid state-level battles post-Roe. Social media lit up with faithful sharing Vatican statements, blending pride in his roots with debates on faith and politics. This comes as red states tighten restrictions and blue ones expand access, with Leo XIV's words hitting like a principled reminder of life's sanctity from conception. He's no stranger to the U.S. issues, having pastored in Texas and his interventions seen as bolstering Trump's alliances with evangelicals. Critics call it meddling, but supporters praise the clarity in a divided flock. Unpacking it, the Pope's letter to Cardinal Blaise Cupic withdrew an award for Senator Dick Durbin, citing inconsistency with doctrine, sparking donor pullbacks and parish discussions. It's amplified calls for conscience protections in healthcare, aligning with right-leaning pushes for alternatives like adoption support. Social media is a forum for personal testimonies, from post-abortive healing to joyful adoptions, humanizing the stakes. At its core, this is faith-guiding policy without apology, a steady voice in stormy times. Leo XIV's debut on the front sets a tone for moral leadership we could use more of. Respect to the office for keeping it real. Border hawks got a win on October 2nd when President Trump declared a formal armed conflict with Mexican drug cartels in a leaked memo, unlocking military resources for drone strikes and intel sharing. It's an escalation from tariffs to tactical action, targeting Sinaloa and Jalisco networks, flooding fentanyl across the Southwest. Social media is rallying with hashtag #SecureTheBorder trends, sharing stats on overdose deaths that hit families hard last year. The move authorizes special ops without full war powers, focusing on high-value targets while partnering with allies like Texas Governor Abbott. Dems are slamming it as a reckless escalation, but Trump's framing it as defending American lives from poison pouring in unchecked. It's already spurred arrests, with ICE netting 500 kilos in a single bus near El Paso. Detailing the ops, the declaration taps Title 10 for Joint Task Force, blending SEALs with DEA for precision hits south of the border. Public reactions are strong in the swing states where cartel violence spills over, and it's tying into midterm pushes for wall funding. Social media videos of raids are going viral, showcasing the grit of agents on the front line. Bottom line, this is proactive defense, not endless talk. With cartels raking in billions off our streets, it's about time we fight fire with fire. Stay safe out there and support the boots on the ground. Education's in the spotlight again with a PEN American report on October 1st revealing over 6,800 book challenges in schools since 2024, spiking 30% this year alone, with classics like A Clockwork Orange topping removal lists. Parents' rights groups are driving it, citing explicit content while librarians decry censorship chilling young minds. Social media is a battlefield with viral videos of empty shelves and heated board meetings echoing nationwide frustrations. The bans hit hardest in Florida and Texas are targeting LGBTQ+ and radical themes, but Trump's DOE is backing local control, saying communities know what's best for their kids. It's led to lawsuits, with the ACLU arguing First Amendment violations balanced against protections for age-appropriate materials. Authors are speaking out, turning removals into bestseller boosts online. Zooming in, the report tracks patterns: 40% of challenges from organized groups, often tying to cultural wars, but 60% from individual parents seeking tailored education. It's fostering compromise pilots, like rated sections in libraries, and social media's amplifying diverse voices from all sides. This debate's about balance, not extremes, ensuring kids get truth without overreach. Kudos to educators navigating it with grace. Let's keep the conversation open on this. What do you guys think? Hit me up on social media. On a somber note, on October 1st, legendary primatologist Jane Goodall died at the age of 91, leaving a legacy of chimp studies and environmental advocacy that's reshaped how we see the wild. From her Tanzania breakthroughs in the 1960s to founding the Jane Goodall Institute, she championed hope amid habitat loss, influencing policies that protected millions of acres. Social media is overflowing with tributes, from wildlife selfies to stories of her Roots and Shoots youth program sparking global changemakers. Trump honored her with a statement praising her unwavering fight for creation, tying it to his administration's wildlife funding hikes. Her death comes as deforestation accelerates, but her message of individual action endures, with institutes vowing to amp up anti-poaching efforts, reflecting deeper. Goodall's patience with chimps mirrored her approach to humanity. Authoring 50 books that blended science and soul, she inspired bipartisan conservation bills, and social media challenges in her name are planting trees already. From tool-using apes to human potential, she showed we're all connected. Her light's out, but the fire she lit burns on. Plant a seed today in her memory, folks. All right, wrapping up with Sin City Shift. Visitors' numbers in Las Vegas plunged 8% year over year through September per UNLV reports, as international flyers shy from U.S. visa hassles and domestics tighten belts amid inflation jitters. Yet, casinos are shrugging it off with revenue flat or up in luxury spots, chasing high rollers over volume. Social media's got empty strip pics going viral, but locals say off-strip bargains are booming for budget crowds. Trump's economic team points to it as a tariff tweak opportunity, boosting domestic travel perks, while Nevada polls push ad campaigns to lure back crowds. It's exposed tourism's fragility post-pandemic, with 40 million annual visitors now questioning the trek. Under the glitz, experts like UNLV's David Cardenas note a pivot to experiential stays, like themed resorts over slots alone, helping offset the drop. Social media influencers are countering the doom with hidden gem guides, keeping the vibe alive. Vegas adapts or busts, true to form. If you're planning a trip, now's the time for deals. Lady Luck's still smiling. Well, folks, that's our wrap for this week. 10 stories that really hit home, from government shutdowns to moments that tug at the heart. It's a lot to take in, but it reminds us we're all navigating this world together, one step at a time. Thanks for joining me on Just a Dude in the News, part of Just a Dude podcast. I need to share some heartfelt news. This will be our final news episode. Life and career changes mean I can't keep these going for now, and I want to be honest about that. I'm so grateful to every one of you for being a part of this amazing community of everyday folks just trying to make sense of it all. The good news is our guest episodes will keep rolling through at least February of 2026, and I'll share more details as we go. As I sign off from the news desk for this last time, my hope is that we can all rediscover what unites us, our shared dreams, our struggles, and our humanity, beyond just politics. May God bless you all, and thank you for making this journey so special. I'm Nathan, signing off with gratitude. Keep it real out there, and this isn't goodbye, it's see you later.